Hello, this is Chris Garcia. This is video number 13. Well, today we're going to start on the whole next part of the journey, which is telling you how everything is a complete lie. Everything you've ever known, everything you've ever gone through in life, everything you've thought about, complete lie. So many things. From the time you were a kid, and that's a whole nother thing. I'm about to ruin your whole childhood because there's so many things that were lies from the time you were a young kid. Um, First thing is first, we all have a tiny bit of alien in us. That's what happens when an alien life force are the ones who put you together and created you as an experiment. You end up with a little bit of alien in you. Now, you have trace elements of alien in you. I'm full alien. So, your DNA, if they did a really extensive background check, you would see that you have tiny bits of alien within you. And for me, I'm full alien. So, okay, the Anunnaki made us, as I've told you before. Don't understand that? Go look it up. They were aliens. They were aliens from the planet Nibiru. Okay, that was the name of their planet. Um, what they had done was they had genetically modified us from previous things that they had been working on. I think we were like the fourth time they experimented to try to make us, something like that, and worked out on the fourth time that it worked really good for them. And so that's when they decided to move on and said, we're going to work with this. Okay. But they genetically modified us. So we were already kind of already done. But they kept working with it and kept working with it until they thought that it was what they called close to perfect. Okay. Um, but there were people that were before us, before this model. Um, One of the things they did was they capped our lifespan to 120 years. Okay, they didn't want us to get out of control. They didn't want us to become too smart. They didn't want to give us that long time thing where we could, really change things up. So they gave us maximum 120 years. Now, if you're a real alien, you get to live much longer. Okay. Um, God wanted us to have reproductive parts, so he gave, women a vagina, they give men a penis. Um, that was something that was a gift from him because aliens didn't have reproductive parts. Aliens don't have reproductive parts. Okay. So it was basically a gift from him, but it was also part of the whole idea that he wanted he had learned from the alien life that they couldn't reproduce like we could. So the thing is he was like, hey, you know what? We're going to do this. We're going to I'm going to make them able to reproduce on their own. And so that was like a gift from him. Okay. Um, let's see. Now, with that comes the weird idea that reptilians actually like to shape shift. They actually like to have this thing that they get into us and into humans and shapeshift into us, and that because they actually like having the penis, they like having the vagina, they like having body parts where it's kind of like a toy to them. Okay, and I know that sounds odd and strange, but that's really the actual truth, is because they don't have those parts. So if they shapeshift into us, if you go and you research this stuff, there are people who have seen them completely feed off of humans, whether it be adults or children, and then they go crazy. And if you ever hear anybody talk about it, they'll say, then they go wild, they go nuts, and then they start to have orgies and they start to shapeshift into humans and they have these crazy full on orgies where all the reptilians now have parts, have sexual parts, and they start to have crazy orgies where they're very, very um, forceful, kind of like it's like I don't know. Of everything I've ever, if you look into it, people talk about it, and they're like, yeah, they have crazy mad orgies that are just like almost sick to sit back and watch because they just go crazy on each other. So um, there is that part that the reptilians love by having a human body, okay, by shapeshifting into a human body. Let me see. God did two more things for us, and one of the things is for humans, He created an afterlife. At first, you guys didn't have an afterlife, okay, and He created one for you. So what you know as heaven, or some people know as realms, you're going to learn that that was created by God. That didn't exist before humans existed, but He created a special afterlife for you. Now, He realized that in order for you to have an afterlife, you also had to have something else. And that was that, because before, it was just like me. You lived the life, you went back, and you went back to your planet. But for humans, no, He created an afterlife. And so in that afterlife, he realized that you had to have something that would help you through the process of having an afterlife. And that was, and again, I told you one of the biggest distinctions between humans and aliens is that uh, humans have souls. And so he helped you in that. But in order to accomplish this, um, he went out and made this thing that blended the consciousness with love and your aura, karma, all the things that would be important to humans and be important to human beings. So when you move to the other side into the afterlife, um, he didn't want to waste your life. He didn't want to. He knew that the body would dissipate. It would go away. It would just crumble, and that there was nothing you could do with the outside body. But the inside, he created the soul, and the soul goes on. So he also created something else called reincarnation. Okay? And in that, it's one of the most important things that I ever went through writing this book. It's one of the most important things, concepts that I've learned that goes beyond Christianity and Catholicism, is that we are all, at some point, reincarnated. You may not be reincarnated immediately. You may take time, but that's just it, is that we're all reincarnated, and that's something that God gave to us.